everything going on and the price looking a little boring, I want to share with you guys some of the most bullish things coming up for Bitcoin over the next few months. Even though the price hasn't followed exactly what we might have wanted or expected over the last few months, there are still some incredibly bullish signs that people are just sort of overlooking, primarily because it doesn't directly talk about the crypto space. So I want to share with you some of those coming up right now. But first, take a look at what we were doing with the Bitcoin price, right? So I was telling you guys that we were getting boring. I was telling you we're trading sideways because we are. The price is incredibly boring right now coming into this pattern forming over here. We're currently at the support. We're having a little bit of a prolonged session at the support, potentially waiting to bounce up and go to the resistance or maybe even break below. You guys already know the play. If you haven't watched, I think 2 videos ago or 3 videos ago, I talked about the play on this pattern and how we're going to profit on if the pattern goes up or if the pattern goes down using either a long or a short position. Check that out. I'll try to link the video somewhere on the screen right now for you guys to check out. I'm going to be playing no matter if it goes down or if it goes up. You should be making money on this with this pattern. That's the beauty of the pattern. Doesn't matter if it goes up or if it goes down, you should be making money. Now, with that being said, with Bitcoin, of course, trading here, the RSI has a clear trend line and a clear upward trajectory. What we want to see happen here is either a rip to the upside on the RSI with a rip up to Bitcoin, potentially testing, 40K next again, like we saw happen here, or then moving up to that 42K, which is a very strong resistance, a clear level that a lot of people want to see break before they turn bullish again, which makes sense, especially when it comes to the short term. Those are going to be key levels. Those are going to, for those to happen, we're going to need this pattern to break. And the longer we kind of trade in this pattern, the bigger the move usually ends up being, especially with the decreased volume. Then we can expect that maybe even one rip is going to take wicks up anywhere from 44K, 46K up to these higher levels, because usually these patterns do mean we end up having bigger moves. So that's what we're looking at Bitcoin in terms of the technical side. If you guys want to see the trades that I'm entering in, my expert team is entering in real time, all the altcoin trades, all the leverage trades, check out the first link down below in the description. We post, like I said, every one of the trades for you guys to see. You'll get access to the #1 group in the cryptocurrency space as well, and it is free for 14 days. So for 2 weeks after you sign up, we're not going to get charged anything. You're just going to see access to you're going to see all the trades. We're not going to hide anything from you. If it doesn't work, you don't like it, whatever it is, no questions asked, you can cancel and you'll avoid getting charged. Again, first link down below in the description. But even though the price of Bitcoin is trading on the breakout pattern, all that stuff, long-term, big picture, things are still looking very, very bullish. And this is why. Starting off with one of the biggest corporate backers, or the biggest corporate backer, is expecting a second quarter loss of $285 million after the crypto crash, but he still plans to take out $400 million more in debt in order to buy more Bitcoin. Again, dollar cost averaging, we all know who this is. This is MicroStrategy, led by the billionaire CEO, Michael Saylor. He is still looking to, I don't know if you call it double down at this point, quintupled. I don't know how many times he's bought Bitcoin. A lot of times. And he has a very low average buy-in, buying on the dip. Again, nothing wrong here. Just be careful when you see people here take out loans. He's going in, his company is going in debt to buy Bitcoin. I would advise against anybody, an individual, anybody who's maybe not a billionaire CEO, who doesn't own a major company. I'd probably invest against you buying Bitcoin, unless you're okay with the fact of potentially you end up being a cool story of I bought Bitcoin with debt and it worked out, but you also might run the risk of, losing everything. As long as that's okay with you, then I guess do what you want. I wouldn't really recommend for it. But with that being said, we have not just the biggest corporate backer buying Bitcoin, but we also see a lot more institutions buying Bitcoin. I think we are seeing Wall Street buy more Bitcoin. I think they are playing that game. And remember, they are newer to the crypto space. They aren't as familiar with the crypto space. This is it's a new market in general, but particularly for these guys from Wall Street, a lot of the institutions buying in, it is new. And what they're seeing right now is the fact that it can be manipulated. Elon Musk single-handedly, of course, he's one of the biggest influencers right now, right? He's one of the biggest influencers, even though he's a CEO, a billionaire, all that stuff. He's an influencer. He's got a massive audience. So yeah, he kind of helped the Bitcoin pump from like 35 to 55K. He also helped it go from 55K to 35K. They're seeing that happen. And to these guys, it's probably raising, the dollar signs are flashing through the eyes. They're seeing the money. They're seeing the manipulation. They're being like, hey, I want a piece of that pie. So they're coming in. So that to me means the price, these guys don't lose. So if there's going to be manipulation, that means there's going to be up and there's going to be down, but also more volatility. And that's why I'm saying that this is what I'm saying right now doesn't mean that the price of Bitcoin can't drop. It can drop to 20K. It can drop. I don't think it's going to drop 20K. It could drop to 20K. It could drop to 30K. Do I think it's going to happen? Maybe in like a wick type situation like we've seen previously, the big dumps. But this Sunday, we didn't have a Sunday dump, which is really, really nice. I sort of was expecting one, so thankfully I didn't sell, but I sort of thought we were going to see one. I didn't sell though, contrary to previous Sundays where we kind of like to take some money off the plate on weekends for volatility issues. This one wasn't too bad, but again, a lot of these guys buying in, a lot of stuff going on. Next up, we have inflation. Again, not pretty to talk about, but we do have Yellen saying that inflation could reach 3% this year as recovery continues. I'm going to go ahead and call BS. I think they're going to hide the true number of inflation. I think the true number of inflation is going to be way more than 3% this year. It, on paper, should be significantly higher. Remember, if these guys said, at first, we're not going to see any big inflation. No. And then now they're saying, yeah, we're probably going to see big inflation, or we're probably going to see it could reach 3%. In reality, it's going to be more. They're not going to tell you it's going to be more, but you can just see from the sheer number of dollars being printed, the inflation is going to be more. That tied in with the, supply chain being cut and the price of everything skyrocketing, that's one thing. But inflation, usually, if you're holding an asset, inflation tends to bring the price up. Keep in mind, inflation really hinders the lower class, right? The people with less money. That's who it hinders the most, because if you have more money and you're invested, inflation just tends to bring the price of your assets up even more. You're good. You've countered inflation. However, if you're holding a lot of money in cash, you end up getting screwed. And that's why people call it the hidden tax. And they're talking about Biden's hidden tax because with everything going on, all the stimulus, and now they're calling it an economic plan, it's all the same thing, printing money in order to fund things. Some of it going to people, a lot of it going to other people, let's just call it, higher net worth people, higher net worth companies, and you guys know how this stuff works. But with that being said, again, the hidden tax, they target the lower class people in order to get support for it because people tend to be easier to manipulate if they're vulnerable. So if you can play to the strings of panic, economy, panic, job insecurity, if you can play to those strings, you end up having a lot of leverage when it comes to manipulation. Therefore, a group of people are certainly easier to manipulate. So again, inflation is coming in, stimulus continuing to be printed. Every time there was a stimulus printed, let me tell you, every time they gave away $1,200, $1,500, I made multiple six figures. Just off of them, the price, then people bought Bitcoin with it, the price went up. We've seen it happen, multiple six figures every time it happened. If you were in crypto, you probably, you might have made 7, 6, 5, whatever it is, the number, but you made more money than whatever it is they gave away. So in that sense, it kind of gets a lot of people interested in that as well. And again, if they continue to print out, I think they're talking about $4 trillion they want to do over the course of a few years, the money's got to go somewhere. And depending on who is receiving that money, if you're targeting, again, a lower financial class person who can't buy real estate right now because the prices have absolutely exploded, doesn't make any sense. They, probably can't take out a loan to buy real estate either, especially if interest rates go up. They're talking about interest rates are potentially going up, would also make that pretty hard. So a lot of the times they're left with the stock market. They can invest in some other assets because you need to be an accredited investor. So a lot of the times they're left with stocks and making 5% a year. If I have $1,000, 5% a year, doesn't really sound great. So then you have crypto that comes in, and we talk about these crazy movements, these crazy price actions. The potential, just the sheer potential, is what caused, a majority of the bull run that we saw right now. The sheer potential of, I'm getting money from the government, I don't want to make 5% on it. Prices of some other things are going crazy. Where can I make a high risk, high reward play that could turn that 1,000 into 10? And we see people turn that 1,000 into like 60 with Dogecoin, right? 60,000. Nowhere else do you see that happen. So again, all these things lining up, all the plays being made outside of the crypto space by, politics, government, stuff like that, the printing of money, sort of the psychological process of how the people who might receive money and how people might play things given the risk reward ratio for a lot of the assets and how assets have played out with, the real estate market jumping up. A lot of people are stopped looking there and are looking elsewhere. And then crypto is one of the other really appetizing ones, one of the ones that are looking really, really good, especially during the recent dip. So with all that going on, I just want to say, I think even if we drop more now, Bitcoin looks good. Not just Bitcoin. I'm going to say crypto in general because Bitcoin itself is just one, and there's a lot of issues with Bitcoin, a lot of stuff we can talk about in another day. But I do think crypto is still looking really, really nice as an asset to own, to combat inflation. Yeah, the price dropped 30%, 40%, whatever it is over a few months. That's part of the game, right? Just like you bought early and it went up. Hopefully you took profits. You might have lost some on it going down. Buy on the dips, take profits on the highs, play that game, and you'll be able to see long-term you should beat inflation. Or if you don't, you just sit there and you hold the diamond hands. I'm not really a big fan of that, but either way, if you were to just hold, if you are a long-term investor and that's your play, that's fine. Again, not for me, but that's fine. Diamond hands, long-term play. Over the course of 10 years, if you look at the last 10 years for Bitcoin, even with 50% drops in a month, people like to fixate on that 1 month just to play to their narrative. Long-term, you still beat inflation by, I'd say, a very, very good amount. So keep that in mind with everything going on. Don't trust what you're seeing people say. That's the thing. Trust the actual facts, right? And then take that and make your own analysis with it, because they said inflation wasn't going to be big. Now they changed their mind. And they've done this multiple times with multiple different topics where they say one thing and do another, because again, it is easy to manipulate people and people just go with it and believe what they say. Don't take what a lot of you see online in general, but just don't take what you see as, fact just because somebody said it. That's not how it works. Now, this is the XRP chart really quick. You guys can see the lines sort of that we had previously talking about buying XRP for proof. Haven't touched anything. 15 cent to 25 cent range accumulating back here. Again, same thing when it came under this area, but we'll see if it drops there again. XRP, this is where Bitcoin peaked in 2017. Was during this move over here. So XRP had a majority of its run come after Bitcoin. A lot of altcoins did, but XRP primarily what we're talking about after Bitcoin had its run. So just something to keep in mind if the Bitcoin bubble is going to pop. Short-term bubble, of course. Long-term, I don't think this is a fad, but short-term bubble, let's say it goes up a lot and it pops. XRP usually makes its move after. With everything going on suppressing the price right now, something potentially to take a look at during the lows. Also, the weekly just had a rip right back into the EMA ribbon, bouncing off of that. We'll see how this plays out depending on what Bitcoin does. But also, I want to end off with some, I don't even know where to take this. But yesterday, the Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather fight happened. There was a lot of crypto involved. Where they had a t-shirt, I think it was Blockfolio t-shirt, where if you scanned it, one lucky person, I think, would win something. The page crashed because of how many people were actually trying to access it. They each had sponsors, crypto sponsors in multiple places. Ethereum max.org on Floyd, super bid on Logan Paul. Floyd Mayweather said he made up to $30 million on his short patches alone. The patches on his shorts, the sponsorships, he made up to $30 million just off of that. Right? Total fight, the guy's making 9 figures. Logan Paul, I think, makes like 20, 25. All I want to know is who do I have to box in the crypto space to make $25 million? I'll fight anyone. I think I could take anybody in the space. For $25 million, I'll take on Dwayne Johnson at that point, right? Give me Mike Tyson in his prime, Canelo. I'll take on anybody for $25 million. But maybe we're going to start to see crypto boxing. It's working so well for everyone else. Why not crypto boxing? Elon Musk versus Patrick. Even though I don't hate the guy as much as a lot of other people do. Or maybe a Bitcoin maximalist. Ooh. That'd be kind of fun. Bitcoin maximalist versus Patrick. I'll get sponsored by Cardano and XRP. They can have Bitcoin and we'll go. Boxing fight. Pay-per-view. I don't know where I'm going with this, but know that there was a lot of sponsorship, a lot of eyes, and this is going to continue to happen because crypto projects have so much money and so much backing, especially if it's in Asia and all that stuff. These guys have so much money backing them that they can promote everywhere. And we're seeing it. I saw a one in the UFC the other day, I think it was, on the floor. I'm pretty sure that was it. The multiple here. I expect to continue to see this. That was incredible. And like I said, I think we're going to see a lot more crypto in these type of events. But more importantly, how can I make 9 figures boxing somebody? That's the most important question. That's the question I'm going to sleep on. But guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, letting me know your thoughts on this whole situation, because there's a lot to cover. There's a lot happening outside the crypto space that I think is going to have an impact on the crypto space. And because it's not in the crypto space directly, a lot of people aren't really talking about it. So with that being said, again, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit that notification bell if you guys haven't done so already, so you can stay updated with future videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one.